Good afternoon, everyone. To those catching up after the great live stream that we had, we're back. This is Wrestling Republic. This is our daily broadcast. My name is Shad. Shad Talks Graps on Instagram, OCDMV703 on X. If you're not following me, then you should probably just follow me because I need more engagement and followers. But we're here, man. It is Sunday Funday, and we got a super good draft episode for y'all. SummerSlam is next week, and we are drafting the best SummerSlam matches of the entirety of all SummerSlam matches. We're gonna go snake order between me and the other people on this panel. And the fun part is in the comments you could tell us how great we did, or normally you could tell us how bad we did. But we'll have a great episode with that. And let me introduce my panel. We're gonna first kick it off to the great country of Canada. Coby, how are you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Of course, it's been a long time since I've been on this show. Been at least a week or two, I want to say. I can't say off the top of my head, but of course, this was my idea to say, hey, we are in SummerSlam weekend next week, and we're going to be celebrating SummerSlam. Like WWE says, it's the biggest party of the summer, and we get to talk about some of the great matches that have happened in the I think it's near 30, or it's either near 30 or 30 plus years that SummerSlam has happened. And of course, it's a pleasure to be back. Regardless, introduce the rest of the people, Shad.
For sure. And yeah, SummerSlam is about as old as me. I want to say the first one was 91. I'm not entirely sure.
It
Don't
was
quote me on
88.
that.
It
Oh,
was
was it
88.
88? So it's older than me. It's 4 years
I
older
think
than me. So
that's
still
I think
feel
it's
young around
36.
here.
Is that 36 SummerSlams?
That would be yeah,
I think
36.
that's
So that'd be
36, maybe including this year, though,
yeah.
which are
So
not eligible for the draft, of course.
yeah. Well, we need our resident historian Anthony to do that for us. But nah, all jokes aside, we also got another person that you've seen this week, and I've got to do a show with him this week. My buddy over out in the UK, David Sheldon. How are you doing today, man?
Hello, everybody. Very excited to be here. This is my first ever draft. Sunday Funday, which is excellent. Sorry, before we begin, let me just finalize my list. Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. Taker versus Gonzalez. And yeah, let's go.
Oh man, he got himself a quite a list of matches already, man. That's crazy. You know that Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss match was probably one of the best matches WWE has ever had in SummerSlam history. But but last but not least, man, we got from the West Side. My dog finally made his return this week, and he is here with us today. Carter, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Shad. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It looks like you guys can see me frozen. I've got my highlighter out. I've got some really good matches all set. Some serious surprises. I think Coby's going to really like these picks. And yeah, let me get myself restarted, and we'll get these picks going.
How Carter can talk without even moving his mouth is pretty crazy. That is top notch over there. Yeah. No, but Carter, he'll get that sorted out.
He's
Let
being
me break it
puppeted
down
by
for you.
Carty.
Yeah,
Giving
Cornette
Jeff Dunham a
behind him.
run for his money over there.
yeah, Cardi Cornette has been possessed or something. Well, he's back here now. Here we are. You're back with us. Okay, this is the crew. This is the draft order for y'all to know. The number one pick, everything was done randomized by Mr. Ben Allison, so there's no cheating. We saw it happen. But number one pick is David. Number two is Coby. Number three is Carter, and number four is myself. Like I said, snake order. We go around, then it comes back around that way. So we are going to kick it off with Mr. David Sheldon with the first pick in the SummerSlam draft. Who are you selecting?
Oh, this is so hard. This is so. Look at all the. I've got so many SummerSlam matches. I've got so many. So, just to let you know how I'm drafting, my aim is to draft my perfect SummerSlam card. So I'm not just picking the 6 best world title matches, because I think that there are too many matches and I want variety. So my aim is that across the 6 picks that I make, and as we go, if people draft the matches I want to draft, that might change. My matches might change. So it might not just be the 6 best matches. It might be the best overall card I could build. But for number 1, my first pick, I have gone for a mid-card title match, just because I think this will be the one that might go the fastest. I have gone with the absolute classic Wembley match of Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog from SummerSlam 1992. I don't think anything else can be a number 1 pick. I think it is the most iconic match in SummerSlam history. And watching it back, it still holds up. Even as a young fan watching it, it is so good. But the story goes that Bulldog was not fully in the right mind, let's say, for this while it was happening, and Bret carried him through the bulk. But it's an extraordinary match with extraordinary psychology, a rabid Wembley crowd. And yeah, I think this is, if not my favorite SummerSlam match ever, certainly I think the most significant, and I think anything else at number 1 might be sacrilege. So I'm going with Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog, SummerSlam 92, to kick off my list.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was the number 1 pick on my draft board, and I was hoping that y'all were so young-minded that you would gloss over and not pick it for me. But definitely incredible match. If you haven't watched that, those in the comments, definitely go back. It is definitely, I definitely can see the wrestling historian in David picking that match because it does hold a lot of just great in-ring storytelling. Everything to it is great. So phenomenal number 1 pick. With the second pick in the draft, we got my man Coby. And Coby, what are you going to select?
So I've done a little research this morning. I look at some of the matches, and there's one that stands out. And of course, it was before I was born. But from the SummerSlam, the last SummerSlam before I was born, 2002, I got to go with what many consider one of the best matches of all time. A lot of people say this could be one of the best in their trilogy. It is the unsanctioned match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, essentially his return to the wrestling ring after one of the back injuries. He delivers. It's the best match of that show. It's one of the best matches of the 2000s. It's one of the best matches of the Triple H and Shawn Michaels rivalry. It stands up because it is a brutal match. Because, like I said, Shawn Michaels came out of this after that career-ending back injury, and you just don't know what is real and what is not when he is selling his back. And it is one of the classics. I've seen it a few times. It stands like Bulldog and Bret. It does stand the test of times as one of those classics from 2002 at this point.
Yeah, so that is the number 2 pick I had on my draft board. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that's personally one of my favorite matches of all time. I remember watching that pay-per-view, like ordered by my older brother as a kid and whatnot. So that SummerSlam holds a lot of place in my heart as a wrestling fan, as a young wrestling fan, and it makes me feel old because you said before you were born and whatnot. But that's awesome, great pick. So those are 2 great picks. We got Carter next on the board. Who you going with?
All right, gentlemen, I have slightly different criteria than all of you. I'm picking this one for one reason and for one reason only, because I was there. I'm going with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, 2022, Nashville. And the one reason is because I was there, but also because Brock got shafted. He came out with that tractor trailer, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not an expert in farming equipment. And as far as I know, it's the only match where a ring was tipped over by a tractor. So for that reason, And I thought the whole card, this SummerSlam, was super fun. That was like an amazing ending. That's the only time I've seen a wrestling ring sideways. So that's my first pick. I know it's a little different than everyone else's, but I'm going with something recent. I'm going with something good.
It's up there.
That is a
We'll give
great
it to
pick.
you.
I know a lot of people may not agree with it, but that was a monumental moment that year. 92, 2002, 2022. Y'all got some numerical strategy in this
I
first
don't think
round.
many people are going to have anything from
What's
2012.
from
I'll tell you that
2012?
much.
What's from 2012, Shad? It's on you.
That was the perfect storm. Was 2012?
No, I'm not picking something from
Oh
2012.
God, big
No, great picks. My first round pick, I'm going to actually go with the year 2000, and I'm gonna pick the TLC triple threat match between Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys. Classic match, one that stands against the time. A lot of people in professional wrestling still go to. You see a lot of influence, and those are three of the greatest tag teams of all time. Super fun, super chaotic. Come on, man. I feel like how that fell to me at the end of the first is kind of crazy, and I am super happy about that. But I'm not going to complain, so I'm going to take with the last pick in the first round, the 2000 triple threat ladder match. So now we go back to round
Yeah.
two, and this also comes back to me. And this one is a little bit more difficult because we still do have a lot of great picks, but I gotta go with the theme of ladders. And I just had a bar about it in my battle last week. Funny enough, I'm going 95. I'm going IC title match: Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels might be in a bunch of our picks today because he could be Mr. SummerSlam, as well as other wrestlers as well that we'll probably see pop up. But that's a classic match, man. That is such a classic match in my mind. Um, and it holds to its time too. So salute to the bad guy, salute to the Heartbreak Kid. I'm gonna go with that with my next pick. Carter, you are back on the clock.
Okay, so I am tempted to go with McAfee and Corbin, but I will save that pick. And we will not go with that pick. And I'll go with something a little more
Crazy.
historically relevant. I'll go with Shawn Michaels and Vader in 1996, just because I can talk about this one a little bit. So for those of you who aren't super familiar with Vader's career, he was very big in Japan, very good in WCW. He did not get super over in WWE. And this was a match where I believe Shawn Michaels was super frustrated with Vader. So it's really interesting to see kind of all of the outside the ring stuff you see in the ring. From my opinion, Vader he kind of got shafted when it came to his run in WWE. They never really gave him the respect he deserved that he got in Japan and WCW. So he's one of those guys that did really good except the WWE, and this is a match that kind of shows that. But I am still tempted to give a special shout out to Pat McAfee, Happy Corbin, save SummerSlam in 22. That one was fantastic, but I'm not going to draft it for real. That was the one I thought Coby would like. So,
Part of me wondered if Carter, you were just going to every draft pick will be a match from SummerSlam 2022, and it would just be every single one going down the card.
I mean, it was a great card, guys. But it was a great card.
I love it. I love it. That's funny, man. Oh man. Okay, great pick over there. Back on the clock, we have Coby. What you got from round two?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Round two. I'm really trying to think about what's next. What can I wait on? What can I hold? Of course, we're thinking about a draft. We wanna know when to pick and when to go with the bold ones. And I think this stipulation has only happened once at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, but I think it has one of the most iconic Hell in a Cell matches of all time. I am going from 2008, The Undertaker versus the Rated R Superstar Edge. This is, I mean, I've seen it, like I said, I've seen this a few times, still before when I started watching wrestling, but it is still that good of a match. It is hardcore. It's one of the last real Hell in a Cell matches, if you want to go with that belief, because of the PG stuff. But that iconic image of the ring breaking and the fire going above it with Undertaker doing his iconic pose. It is one of the most iconic moments I've seen regarding the Hell in a Cell. Obviously not the most iconic, which is Mankind and Taker stuff, but this is from SummerSlam, from Hell in a Cell. Almost the best of both worlds at this point. And I gotta say, Edge versus Taker at this point.
I love it. I love that match. That spot you're speaking about was legendary. I think I was in high school when that match happened. I remember watching that too. That was a great. And then Rated R Edge, man. That was good stuff. Very very solid pick. You're off to a good start. We back to the top of the number one pick, and this is gonna have a couple picks in a row. But who do you have to close out this round, David?
You've stolen my 2 and 3, which were TLC and Taker Edge. They're both gone. That also kind of ruins my idea of having a tag match on my card, because I don't think the other 2 tag matches I've got written down are good enough at this stage to get there. So instead of doing that, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to start with a match I was going to pick anyway at number 2, which is my sort of big marquee singles match with no title on the line. And for that, I'm going to go to 2013. And I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk, because I think this might be my favorite SummerSlam match ever. I think the dynamic here is outstanding. I think the fact that it does have the no DQ stip adds that level of brutality. Punk just wails on him. Lesnar just wails on him. And Punk comes back brilliantly. I think I like this more than Cena Bryan on the same show, which is also great. But I do prefer Punk Brock. And I think this is Brock Lesnar has had an incredible run of SummerSlam matches over the years. I think this is probably the best one he's ever had. Just a fantastic match.
That's a great match as well. That's another guy who you can argue to being Mr. SummerSlam as both of those gentlemen. Like Punk has had a series of great SummerSlam matches, and Brock as well. So I really do like that pick. Um, we're back at the top of the round, and we're in round 3. It's back to you, buddy. Who you got?
It's me again. It's me again. Okay. I'm sort of working on the fly here because a lot of my order got messed with. So I am going to say I'm going to take. I think. Yeah, you know what? In my effort to keep my card sort of in its idea of having different matches, I'm also trying to not use the same person twice, which is so that it could be a realistic card. So sorry to one particular bout that I'll come to later that I'm sure someone else will pick. I'm going to go for an out there one. And I'm just going to, because I'm not sure anyone else is going to take my other ones, and I've jinxed it now. I'm going to go with Randy Orton versus Christian from SummerSlam 2011. Which I think they also had a ton of matches through 2011. And this, I think, was one of their better ones. I think Christian was great in this run. I think Orton was great in this run. And yeah, I haven't got them anywhere else, so they fit quite nicely. I wasn't going to pick it because TLC and Christian's in TLC, but because Christian's in TLC, fine. We will go with Orton versus Christian, which I think is one of the most underrated SummerSlam matches ever.
Yeah, that match was a really great one as well. Christian, he's such an unsung hero when it comes to professional wrestling at that too. I feel like he's like one of those guys that has etched out a Hall of Fame esque career in so many different companies that he's been in. Definitely WWE, definitely in TNA Impact, and I think he can argue that he's making one in AEW at the moment. So, much love to Christian, and then, yeah, that match was really underrated one. So great pick over there. We are gonna go with Coby. You are on the clock, round 3. What you got?
I am on the clock, and that was literally going to be my next one, was Randy versus Christian, because obviously I am a 2011 wrestling baby, if I want to say it like that. I remember having SummerSlam 2011 on my on a VHS tape, because I didn't get to watch it live, and that is one of my favorite matches from that show. Of course, probably my favorite match from that show. But of course, we got to move on at this point because it is a draft, and I can't take it. I think the one that stands out because I mean, if I am kind of going with the same thing or same theme of not going with people in the same matches, at least not yet. I think the one I'm going to go with next is going to be from 2017, and it was the Universal title with Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. This is exactly what you want. It's a fatal four-way. It is car crash mode. It is probably one of my favorite four-ways of all time, but it is just everything you want from it. Everyone gets their spots. Everyone is over in this match. To see Brock Lesnar get taken out and return, it's kind of a story because, I mean, he's the beast incarnate, and to see him being removed from the match shows the damage, but keep in mind, he's the beast incarnate, so he's got to show back up, and he does. I can't say a bad thing about this match, and I think that is a strong round 3 pick for myself at this point.
I like it. I like it a lot. That is definitely, I can't even say recent time because it was like what, 7 years ago now.
7
So
years ago, yeah.
yeah, but you had a lot of
That
beasts
makes
in
me
that match,
feel
and that was, I know, man. It's crazy how time flies. Even like you talk, Carter picking every match from 22. I mean, that's crazy. I feel like it was yesterday when that card happened, but it definitely not. So, which match on 22 are you picking next, Carter? You're next on the clock.
Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, 2020. No, not that one. No.
you got
Oh
me.
my
You
God.
got
For
me.
MMA matches.
I really thought you was about to pick next.
Man, I got you guys going. Okay, this next one, this is my mac and cheese pick. This is one I haven't seen that I just want to watch. And this is right after I stopped watching wrestling as a kid. This is 2009. Rey Mysterio, Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. This one just sounds great on paper. Mysterio, he's been good for decades. He's been good indies to stadiums. I mean, everyone loves watching him. He's probably the most famous luchador in America. And I'm a big Ziggler fan. Love Ziggler. Great, just blonde American wrestler. I haven't seen this one, but it looks on paper. I mean, I have it written down on paper. It looks great. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to go back, watch it. I don't think I have a solid mid card title outside of that Baszler pick, but I only get 3, so that one's not real. But
Oh,
no, I
that's
just 2 great wrestlers, great styles. It just looks awesome. So I'm definitely going to go back and watch that one after this.
I have
I
seen that
like
match. It's so good.
that is
Such a good match. That was
is
on
a
my.
good
That was
match.
going to be one of mine as well. So you've taken
Yeah,
one of
no,
my picks, there, Carter.
no, that is a great pick for sure, and it's funny that you picked it without even watching it, but you won't be disappointed. I mean, Dolph at that time, man, he was really like a worker's worker. And then that's Ray, man. Ray is one of the best, quick, like best luchador maybe of all time. Quick, fast. It was a good match, and that was when Dolph was really in his bag too in WWE. So, solid match. Uh, I'm gonna wrap up this third round, and I am going to pick a match that, if you talk about nowadays, people wouldn't be happy about it, but just the the surefire craziness of this man, my favorite wrestler of all time, the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle, 2001, classic match over there. Oh man, those two had such great chemistry, were such great rivals upon each other throughout their time in WWE, and I love that match. That is one, again, as a child, it holds near and dear to my heart. So I'm gonna close the third round off with that. And
No, David. No one's going to pick that match. It ended in DQ, so you can leave that to a later round and then take it. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
great minds
you
think
have
alike,
no
David.
idea how much you have screwed my list by that one pick. Because nearly all my matches for the world title have either Brett or Punk or Lesnar in it. So I might have to break my own rules here.
Oh man, it's crazy. This is why these drafts are fun, man. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna put you on the board real quick, Kobe, because we are halfway through the draft, and I want you to just give us a breakdown of the pick so far.
Next, I can do that as well. So, starting with David's 3 matches so far, he has number 1 was Brett versus British Bulldog at Wembley Stadium in 1992. He has CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar in a street fight from 2013. And his third pick was Randy Orton versus Christian, no holds barred for the World Heavyweight Championship from 2011. One more fight was that rivalry based off of. My own 3 picks so far has been Triple H and Shawn Michaels unsanctioned from 2002, Edge versus Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell from 2008, and from 2017, the Brock Lesnar Universal 4-Way with Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. Cardi Cornette has gone with 3 bold picks. First, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns last man standing match from SummerSlam 2022. Shawn Michaels versus Vader from 1996. And Dolph Ziggler versus Rey Mysterio, and I believe it's from 2009. That the exact year has skipped my mind based off of all the matches I've read this morning. And to cap it off, Shad has 3 picks. TLC. Was it TLC? I don't know if it was TLC 2, but it was TLC, the Dudley Boys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian from SummerSlam 2000. He has the Razor and Shawn Michaels ladder match from 1995, and Kurt Angle versus Stone Cold from 2001. Those are the first half of the picks.
Thank you, my good man. We are cooking so far. I think nobody has a bad docket of matches so far, so that is looking great. And before we get to these next batch of picks, we also got to shout outs to the sponsors who also do great stuff, and that's our buddies at Next Level. If you go to nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic, you will be able to find all of our content across all platforms. It is a one-stop shop. I'm going to be real with you guys. I use them all the time when people ask me about the podcast, how they can follow uh, the product, and it's an easy way to do that. You'll find everything Wrestling Republic related. They also have an app. They have a community there where other wrestling fans and content creators can work together, which is always great to say and great to see. And the best part of all, they like to give away free stuff. They do contests regularly. They got people to go to WrestleMania this past Mania. They're giving WWE cash. They're also giving copies of WWE 2K. So you want to follow them, you want to support them, and you want to support us. So make sure you go to the website, download the app, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's get back to the second half because tensions are high in this draft right now. David wants me to negate all my picks because I'm taking his picks. Cardi Cornette has obsession with SummerSlam 2022, and Kobe is just doing his thing right now. And we also got our good buddy Bobby Petito saying, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Thank you for supporting and watching with us, man. He's throwing his twos up as well. Salute to you, Bobby. It is back to me. It is back to me. And I guess I'm going to go a little bit more recent with a pick. And I'll be honest with you, it's a match that I probably caught later than I did rather watching it live because I wasn't really watching WWE as much. But I do recall watching this match because I was super excited once this guy came into the WWE. And that is going to be a John Cena versus AJ Styles 2016 crazy match, classic. This was the era of AJ coming through. This was a good old prime Cena that we're seeing, and I feel like it also holds a little bit of sentimental feelings to me because I really hope we get to see these guys running back with Cena coming into the ending of his career for the retirement tour. AJ also, we don't know how long he's going to be doing it for, but an incredibly well wrestled match. So that is my pick, AJ Styles versus John Cena, 2016. Any thoughts on that pick, guys?
It's
It's a
great,
brilliant
great
match. It was
Brilliant
one that
match.
was on my potential list about 2 minutes ago. So I'm kind of glad you took it because I was worried it wasn't going to go at all. So yeah, fantastic match. I think, unbelievable set of matches that those two had, and I think probably Styles' best set of matches in WWE, and possibly some of Cena's best work as well. Really, really excellent stuff.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Nah, I'm glad that we can agree to that. Carter, you
All
gonna
right.
pick Shayna
This
and
is going to be
Ronda?
a big surprise, but we're going to go all the way back to the year 2022. And I'm going to go with another match from this card. So this was hard. I'm not picking Logan Paul and The Miz. I wanted to, but I'm going with, I'm going to give a shout out division here. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I thought that was the
Stop
match
stealing
of
my
the
matches!
card. I thought that
Damn
was
it.
the match of the card. I don't remember what injury Becky got. It was something nasty, but I mean, yeah, just
I
being
think it
there
was
in
a shoulder.
person, it
She got
was
smashed in the nose, didn't she?
it
Oh no,
was
that
match
was
of the
that was
card.
Mania.
No, it was the shoulder because
Yeah, the
it
nose
was
Mania,
her nose.
Mhm.
where she had
No,
the
no,
450.
I think the nose was before, but oh right. No,
That
because it was the stare down because you could kind of see her collarbone sticking out
that was on
when
my big board.
Damage Control debuted.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
match. I mean, it was just fantastic. Both girls put on a clinic. I mean, even though Becky got hurt, she finished the match out, and it's just, I mean, on top of maybe the best SummerSlam card ever, 2022. But no, I thought it was, Logan Paul coming in, letting us know what he's about to do. But no, I just thought it was a great year, and that was a fantastic match for the women's title. So I'm gonna go with that one.
I think David could appreciate this. I think this was the first SummerSlam of the new Triple H Paul
Yeah.
Levesque era,
Was.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
The what? Sorry,
Yep.
say that one again, Shard,
This
for
was
me.
the Triple
Ah.
H Paul Levesque era first fully booked PLE. Oh, we
Mhm.
lost David for some reason. I don't know
I've
why.
just turned off the camera just so you can't see all of the gesturing I'm doing at the mention of the Triple H era. Hang on, let me just get it out of my system. Let me just get it out of my hooah hooah. Much calmer now.
Nah, I will say that is a great pick. Because that
Brilliant
was
match.
that was a course
Yeah.
correction
Yes.
from the first Becky
Indeed.
Lynch and Bianca Belair match, which was, pardon my French, utter dog shit. So regardless to what it is,
I'll
I
be
just
honest.
gotta
I'll
put
say
it out
this.
there.
I'll say this. I wasn't the biggest fan of Brock Roman from that show. I thought it was a show with some great moments, but I thought it was quite boring overall. So this was easily my best match of the night. I thought this was a brilliant opener, and obviously this was where Damage Control debuted as well.
Yep.
So this was a fantastic setting up immediately that this is, pardon the French, this is the new era of WWE. And this is all the steps that we're taking to revitalize a dying women's division. I think it was a fantastic match. Not as good as the Mania one, though. That is better.
No,
But
oh yeah, that
Right.
one was better.
No.
Yeah, no, I think Becky and Bianca have tremendous chemistry amongst being rivals and match wise. So salute to those two women. David, you are back on the clock. Oh, no, you are
it's
not on the
Coby
clock. I'm
next.
sorry.
No.
Kobe, you are on the clock, and I'm curious to see what you're gonna go with.
I wrote that down for my number 4, and that was I was shocked that one was taken from me at this point. And I'm thinking, but I'm gonna bring my 5th one up. By far, this is the most pick out of thin air, but it's a really good ladder match. But the thing is this is SummerSlam's most memeable wrestling match.
Yeah.
Because it is the custody of Dominic Mysterio, Rey versus Eddie Guerrero from 2005. The fact that this is still relevant nearly 20 years later just shows, I don't want to say it's a classic. It's a really good match because it is just Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero in a ladder match. But the fact of the matter is the legacy it has with the meme of the custody of someone, and at this point the custody of Dominic Mysterio is on the line this year.
Yeah.
It's the most memeable SummerSlam match of all time to me. And of course, that's why I gotta take it before someone else can.
I was definitely hoping to get that on the later half of the round, but that SummerSlam holds a lot of value to my heart because that was SummerSlam in the nation's capital, Washington D.C. And I remember when all of that happened, I was so mad I couldn't go to that live. A couple of my buddies did. My parents, obviously, we weren't the richest people growing up, so I hardly ever went to wrestling events as a child. But that definitely is one that does hold a lot of thoughts. A lot of people were fantasy booking that idea for Liv versus Rhea, so I like the idea for that. Uh, David, what you got for us?
I'm so glad. Really thought Kobe was going to take my last one. I had this horrible feeling because it's the only way I can make this work. So my next match is a WWE title match. For as much as I said that it wasn't as good as Brock Punk, it's still amazing. My fourth pick is Daniel Bryan versus John Cena from SummerSlam 2013 because it's an amazing wrestling match with an amazing angle afterwards. This was the first Daniel Bryan coronation to the moon before it was very cleverly snatched away. Unfortunately, they then did several months where they did it to lessening success of having Bryan stripped and then sort of disappeared and then brought back into the main event when fans wouldn't shut up about him. But this was the perfect way to end the show. Some really great wrestling from Cena. Obviously Bryan is an extraordinary talent. I think one of the best to ever step in a ring. And yeah, they pull off magic here, and the sheer jubilation of Daniel Bryan winning, followed by your heart being ripped out when it doesn't go the way that you want. It's horrible, but it's brilliant. And so yeah, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena is my WWE title match from this show.
I like it. I like it a lot. That definitely, like we were saying, a series of great matches with Cena, and then it's Daniel Bryan, man. He's one of the best of all time for that reason. So I do like that pick a lot. That is the last pick of the fourth round, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So we are now in the fifth round, and we are
That's right.
back on the clock with you. What you
The
got for us?
back on with me. So I've got two picks left. Now, a lot of my big matches are gone now because I've used Lesnar or Cena or Punk or Brett. Brett's using Brett immediately has taken me out of a lot of matches here. So I'm gonna go with a match, very personal pick because I don't think anyone's gonna take my last one, and I'm gonna bank that nobody takes my last one. So with love to a match that I should be picking and I'm not, which I'll say at the end if nobody takes it. I'm hoping somebody does. I'm going to go with The Fiend versus Finn Balor from SummerSlam 2019 because this is my favorite thing. Look, it is a squash, but it's the perfect squash. It's Balor is given just enough, but it's not about the match. The match is perfect for what it needs to be. But coming out of SummerSlam 2019, that is the only thing anyone wanted to talk about was The Fiend. I think the presentation was perfect. I think the moment was perfect. I think as a lightning in a bottle for 3-4 minutes, this is some of the best WWE have ever produced. And I remember watching it. Obviously, the Firefly Funhouse drew me back to wrestling after a couple of years, after Jinder took me out the first time. It was the Firefly Funhouse that brought me back. And so to see it culminate and think that this was going to be the start of that was what made Bray my favorite wrestler ever. And I think if a match and a series of things can have that level of impact on me, I cannot in good conscience not put it on the list. So I get it. The match itself is a squash, but I don't care for the feelings this gave me. Balor versus Fiend will go on my list. And if I'm putting it in the case of a wrestling card, I think a well placed squash is always welcome on a wrestling card, especially when it's done as well as this. So I'm going with Fiend Balor.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think I like the way your direction is. It does feel like a actual card where there's different styles of matches and uh, different finishes and whatnot. So that is a great pick, great shout. Kobe, you are back on the clock. What do you got for us for round five?
I'm back on the clock, and I have two in mind that I don't know which I can risk not getting picked up. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, and I'm looking, and I'm thinking, and there was three really, really, really good matches from these guys, and this match was the first. And in 2021, we were blessed with getting crowds back in wrestling. And this was one of the feuds that didn't not need the crowd because they did a lot of good stuff within the Thunderdome era. But the fact that we got three matches with these guys in hot crowds at SummerSlam, in a Madison Square Garden show, and at, I think it was Crown Jewel in 2021. But I am going with Edge versus Seth Rollins, the first of their trilogy from that year. And I think this is just a really solid match because keep in mind, this wasn't for a title, but this was that year's definitive. Oh, that made this show worth it because it was Seth Rollins and Edge lacing it up. Two icons that in 2018 we would never thought would ever get to wrestle. Then Edge got his return. Then the fact that the stars aligned for this match, especially knowing Edge didn't stay, is magic to me, and it's two of my favorites at this point. I still love both men, and it was probably it was a really good match from that SummerSlam, and I don't know what else to say about it, but Edge versus Seth Rollins from 2021.
I like it. I like it a lot, and that match was incredible. Um, and to your points, like it's great to see Edge get that second win coming back from retirement. We don't know how much time he had left, and I appreciated the series of matches that he was able to have on that second little run that he had coming back into WWE, and that was an incredible match. Seth is Seth, man. He's always going to give you something great. So good choice. Cardi, you are back on the clock. This is round five. What you got for us?
All right, I've been told I can't draft future matches, so I will not be drafting Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker for next week. But this one I'm going with on paper again. Um, this one, same deal. It's right before I started watching wrestling, but it just looks like it's going to be a really good match. I have year 2000, The Rock versus Kurt Angle versus Triple H for the WWE title. I just want to go on a Kurt Angle rant. I think you could argue from our generation, Shad, Kurt could be the best wrestler. End of sentence. His TNA run was goated. Those matches with Samoa Joe were potentially the greatest wrestling matches ever. I think from the Ruthless Aggression era, he is one of my favorite stars. And we all know Rock and H are cream of the crop, like top WWE talent. And just throwing Kurt in there just makes it more exciting, a little more hard hitting. And I think Kurt Angle's a guy that sometimes we overlook from that generation, but I think Kurt really needs to get his flowers. He was amazing in the WWE during that like 2000 to 2010 period. He was just incredible.
Sorry, technical difficulties for a second. Yeah, no, I that match is incredible. Kurt Angle, I mean, it is the Olympics. That is a person that won gold with a broken freaking neck. And I do like that pick a lot. When did you start watching wrestling?
I think like 2001 to 2009 was probably when but the weird thing about me is I was going to PWG shows in like 2005. So I knew who Excalibur was when I was like 12. So
Okay, okay, I
I got a
got you. I
weird
got you.
weird
Nah, I got you. All right, so this will wrap up round five for me. And man, I gotta look at the big board because y'all took a bunch of picks from me. I can't lie. Um, but I think I do need to have a women's match on the card, and I'm actually gonna go with last year's SummerSlam. I'm gonna go with the triple threat match: Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Bianca Belair. because that match was a great match between all three women. But y'all talked about the best women's wrestler this year, bell for bell. It's been Io Sky. That was the moment Io came in, running down, cashing in her Money in the Bank. Feel like that adds excitement to my card. So I'm gonna go with that with my last pick in the round 5. And gentlemen, we are here. This is round 6. These are the last picks that we are going to make. This has been a fun draft. This has always been a fun exercise. This is tough. I'm gonna start it off. So many great matches that have not been picked already, and
Mhm.
I hate not having to pick some matches. But I don't believe this match was taken yet, and these guys have the greatest chemistries because they are from the great country that Kobe's from. We haven't picked Bret Hart versus Owen 94 Steel Cage yet, have we?
Nope. Nope.
That is
That's
my
available.
last pick. We are going Brett versus Owen, Steel Cage, 94, absolute classic. Every time these two guys lace up and go against each other, they put on classics. That's how I end up my round.
Can I just throw my 2 cents in on that match?
Go ahead.
I don't like it. I've seen it twice.
Ooh.
I've seen it twice. I like the Mania match. I like them. For me, I like the idea of Owen trying to scarp her out of the cage. I like that. I like the. I think as a match, it rooted in its history, it's great. But boy, watching it now, it's so boring because it goes on for nearly half an hour to my
It was a
memory, and
long
it's
match.
nearly half an hour of
Over.
them just. I like I said,
Over.
if they did the same. Oh god, yeah, it is. If this goes for like
32.
15 minutes of this, I think it's amazing. But after about 15 minutes, I'm like, all right, I get it now. All right, I get it now. And then they keep going and going and going and going. So I'll throw that out there as my thing. I think I respect the hell out of both of them. This as a piece of history, fair enough. I understand that this was a completely different type of cage match. But boy, watching it a month or two ago, it bored me to tears, and I feel so bad for that because I really wanted to like it. Sorry.
Well, he just basically said my last pick was trash, so I'm gonna feel some type of way about it. But nah, yeah, you're subjected to your opinion. This is
Well,
the
the rest of
end
the
of.
world, the rest of the world disagree with me. So it's fine. We can.
Hey, it took us this long to bring out the shovel and start burying each other. I'm proud of that. We've been civil. We've been civil.
For sure. Cardi Carnett, with the last pick of the draft for you, who are you selecting?
So this was on the same card as that great match with Baszler and Rousey. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, 2023. I'm going. So I know Clark and Cody Rhodes have a luxury, and Clark's not a big fan of the story and all. But it's one of the greatest stories in wrestling. Cody Rhodes' thing. I mean, he went to Japan and the Indies to find himself, and I mean, I'm a big Brock Lesnar guy. I absolutely love Lesnar in the WWE. Don't like seeing him in MMA, but in wrestling, he is great. And I mean, he built Cody up perfectly. I mean, wrestling is the mix of athleticism and storylines. And I think the build up for this was so long, and this was such a integral part of Cody finishing his story. And it was close to that 22 card. No, I just thought this was a great match, great storyline, and I enjoyed it in spite of what Mr. Taylor might have to say about it.
Oh man, yeah, the adrenaline does not run in Mr. Taylor's soul, so he does not like Cody Rhodes, but that is okay. We are gonna go to you,
That's a
Kobe,
good.
because
That's a
we
good
are
one.
running
That's a good
against the
one. That's a
clock
good
now.
one.
So
We are running against the clock, and I got to be short with this. And to honor our Lord and Savior of modern day WWE wrestling, Triple H, with his 5-match pay-per-view cards that aren't major events, with the last few having 5, I am gonna keep my 6th as a pre-show match. The Usos versus the New Day from 2017, one of the best tag matches of SummerSlam ever. And this match was still available? Thank you. I am going to take that with pride right now. This is, I mean, it was probably the best match that year. And we're aside from the car crash 4-way. And it was on the pre-show, and it just showed you the undeniable chemistry and how they're destined to do this forever. the Usos and the New Day are wrestling soulmates at this point.
Yeah.
And if I'm aside from Edge doing double duty for my first 5 picks, this, if I had to do a pre-show match and if I had to take a pre-show match, it is this one: Usos versus the New Day from 2017 SmackDown Tag Team Titles.
I like it. I like it a lot. With the last pick in the draft, David Sheldon, who are you selecting?
I should go Angle Ray. I should go Angle Ray. I spent the whole thing thinking, please somebody take Angle Ray. Nobody's taken Angle Ray, but I want a women's match on my card. So I'm not picking Angle Ray. I'm also not picking Punk Hardy. I'm also not picking Brett Perfect, Brett Taker, Triple H, Rock. Ah, I have decided for my final pick, I'm going to go over all of those to pick Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano from SummerSlam 1994. Because A, this is possibly the most underrated women's feud in the history of WWE. God, they saved this dying division in this period by just having brilliant matches. And the match is great because they're two big power wrestlers that just batter each other. It's really, really well done. But secondly, this was the best SummerSlam match, or the only good SummerSlam women's match until maximum 20 years later. It's extraordinary how poor the track record of women's matches at SummerSlam is because WWE didn't care. So while I would have gone Bianca Becky as my women's match and that was taken, I've decided to go for a wild card and go with Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano because I really do think the match is very underrated and it's a women's match and I would not have a women's match on this card. So I've gone with Blaze Nakano.
I like it. I like it
Nice.
a lot. I feel like that is definitely true to your point. Hopefully we can get a better tracking record with the talented women that they have in WWE. We could get some solid matches. This is how we're gonna do it before we close out. I'm gonna pass it to you. Y'all can tell us your 6 matches that you picked. Y'all comment who had the best card. We will start back with you, David. Give us your card.
Okay, so my card. I am going to open with Randy Orton versus Christian from SummerSlam 2011. I'm not doing this in order. I'm doing this in. Do you want me to do it in order? I should say that. I can do it in order if you like, or I can do it in order of my card.
However you
What's
want to
easier?
do it. If you want to put it in the order of
Okay,
the card, go ahead.
I'll put it in the order of my card. I'll do this. So we're going to kick off with Orton versus Christian from SummerSlam 2011. From there, we're going to throw in. Yeah, let's do Blaze Nakano second. Let's do that match second. Then third, we'll do Punk versus Lesnar. Fourth, we'll do Fiend versus Balor. 5, we'll do Brett versus Bulldog. And we'll main event with John Cena versus Daniel Bryan from SummerSlam 2013. That would be my SummerSlam, David Sheldon's dream SummerSlam card.
I like it. I like it. Coby, what you got for us?
I like it. I like it a lot as well. I don't know a great order. Of course, I have Edge pulling double duty, so I'm not going to say it in a order of structuring a show. Unsanctioned Triple H Shawn Michaels 2002. Hell in a Cell Edge versus Undertaker from 2008. The Brock Fatal 4-Way from 2017 with Joe, Roman, and Braun. The Ray and Eddie custody of Dominic ladder match from 2005. Seth Rollins versus Edge from 2021. And the Usos versus the New Day from the 2017 SummerSlam pre-show.
I like that too. That is a strong card. Carter, what you got?
I would like to apologize to Mr. Brock Lesnar. Please don't get mad at me. We're opening with Mysterio Ziggler. Then we're getting into Vader, Shawn Michaels, and then Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. This next match, I had to move to the top of the card. Reigns and Lesnar needs to finish the card out because the ring gets trashed. So I didn't have that as a headliner, but it will be the headliner. And then before that is Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. And then after that, Rock, Triple H, Angle.
I like it. It is me. I'm not gonna go order because that is a lot of thinking for myself. But
More
my
work.
picks,
More work.
I had the infamous ladder match between the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, the Hardys. I also selected Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Match ladder. We got Austin versus Kurt Angle, which was led to a DQ finish. We also got AJ Styles versus John Cena from 2016. We got the infamous Money in the Bank cash in from Io Sky with the 2023 Women's Triple Threat match that happened last year. And then we got Brett versus Owen. We all got great matches, and I'm excited for next week's SummerSlam. I'm hoping we get some legendary matches that can be added to this list next year when we do drafts next year. But that's all the time that we have. We went well into overtime for this, but that's okay because it is Sunday Funday, and we are all having fun here. Remember, we are back tomorrow, regular time at the daily, same time. And don't forget, in an hour, we got the Sunday Spotlight with myself, Megan, and Drizzy. We're breaking down a lot of great stuff that happened in pro wrestling this past week. There's a lot of great talent that we're showcasing as well. So tune into that. And yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.